Hey kids, this is X-Ray Vision coming to you live from Quattro Cinco Studios in my mom's basement. And we got another insanely packed panel for you guys here on Tech Talk. We have, I'll let them introduce themselves going clockwise, starting with CryptoVince. Go ahead.
All right, I'm CryptoVince. It's been a while. I think the last time we saw each other was when you came back to Cali a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, we had a long conversation about instruments at Kool-Aid's apartment. I couldn't believe the instruments that you play. I mean, and not just play, like you're really good at playing these instruments. It was blowing my mind.
It's stuff from a former life, and pretty much all in crypto now. Been day one OG. Got a book out on Amazon that I co-wrote with Cryptographics, just about the Hex ecosystem, and everyday community member.
What's the name of the book that you wrote with Cryptographics?
It's a really long title, but it's like Crypto Investing Handbook is like the main title. I should have. Let me pull it up. But yeah, it's we actually published it before Pulse launched, so we're actually planning to have an updated edition in the near future. Just waiting for a couple more things to come to fruition. For example, I heard about you guys have probably heard too about Alex probably upgrading icosahedron to the V2 and adding a bunch more features. So I'd like to have that included in the book. So we're just kind of waiting for all that stuff to materialize. So I put a little link to the book in the private chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna try putting it in, pasting it in the chat. I don't know if it'll let me. Sometimes it'll let you do some links, but not others.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's up there, and I'll add that to the show notes as well.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And you said you were going to be in Vegas, part of the Vegas.
Yes, sir. Week? Yeah, I'll probably skip some of the social events, but I'll definitely be there for the seminar. Yeah.
He's in it for the technology, folks.
For the tech.
He's in it for the tech. Awesome. How about, our next guest here is Erwin, also known as Facing Reality. Go ahead and introduce yourself to anyone who doesn't know you by now.
Yeah. Good evening. Thank you for having me again on Facing Reality. I think the last time I was on was over a year ago now.
Mm-hmm.
November, December, or was it early 23? I can't recall.
Was that the Flat Earth show that went on for about 5 hours?
That might be the one, yeah. or maybe the one before that one that was more crypto related. The other one we had some fun, yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
Cool. Yeah, that was really. I still have been looking up stuff and been down a bunch of rabbit holes since that conversation.
As long as it sparks interest, it's all about coming to your own conclusions. If you agree with it or not, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're thinking for yourself and coming to your own conclusion, then I'm fine with whatever conclusion you come up with, as long as it's not somebody else's opinion.
Yeah. And whenever there's a subject where people say there are okay questions to ask and not okay questions to ask, that like gets my attention immediately, because I'm like, why are you guys afraid of questions? This is
exactly.
That's how our brains work.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you recently had made a move and got a bunch of stuff done in your personal life, but as far as crypto goes, is there anything you're working on right now or specifically watching?
Well, of course, the Richard Hart ecosystem, and it's surprising to see how Pulse Chain reacted to everything, and more everything that is built on Pulse Chain or is coming out on Pulse Chain. It pretty much acted the same way as ETH did back in the day. So it's interesting to see that it's just a normal market like everything else. So it gives a lot of confidence. So it's interesting to see what the upcoming weeks, months will bring. because things are starting to get interested now.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And Josh, aka Chocolate Taints, let's get to know you, buddy.
What's going on, fam? Yep. My name is Josh. My moniker, Chocolate Taints. If anybody in the live or on the replay is laughing at that name, the name has done its job. You will never forget the name. So, but yeah, I'm coming to you guys from sunny and 70 Baltimore, Maryland. FR Vince, it's good meeting you guys. Looking forward to the stream. I am a co-host and co-founder of the DGen Roundtable. We are a relatively new podcast channel on YouTube. I had the opportunity to come here on this show about a week or two ago and talk a little bit with you, Pulse Ray. But yep, that's me. That's what we're doing. We're doing some good stuff over there on that channel. So looking forward to adding value to this conversation.
And that's every Wednesday night, right?
So we have a Sunday night episode at 8 p.m. Eastern every Sunday night, and then every Wednesday it's either going to be a Whiskey Wednesday where we like to feature our community members because we have a big Telegram community also. So we like to bring on people from the community that want to, showcase themselves, introduce each other to the channel and all that different sorts of stuff. And then so that would be like the first and the third Wednesday, and then the second and the fourth, we like to bring on special guests. So we've had everything from authors to coin founders to content creators. And yep, so that's sort of what we're doing. And we also have a book club now every Friday as well. So every Friday we got a book club, and yeah, we're throwing a ton of different content on the channel. There's 9 of us and a producer, and yep, we're doing as much work as we can.
Great. And it's 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday.
Correct. 8 p.m. Yeah. So we're going to be streaming tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about the possibility of a perfect storm theory in crypto when you culminate the institutional money coming in with retail investment and, the overall hype that's going around cryptocurrency. It's coming up sooner than later now, especially in the news media and all that stuff. Bitcoin's running across headlines now before the halving has even come up. So we're going to be talking about the possibility of a perfect storm theory where, this is a blowout year for cryptocurrency in general. Bitcoin exceeds its expectations and all that stuff. So not saying it's going to happen, but it's definitely a theory. It's definitely a possibility. And there's certainly a track record to support some of the claims that we're going to make tonight. So, yep, 8 o'clock Eastern every Sunday night and 8 o'clock Eastern every Wednesday.
And what time is the book club?
The book club is, I believe, all of our stuff is pretty much 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So cool. Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Yep, 8 o'clock Eastern. So if you're on the East Coast, have a little dinner, hang out, kick back, have a little nightcap, watch the show. If you're on the West Coast and it's like the 5 o'clock free ride, listen to us while you're coming home from work, that sort of thing.
Cool. And did you want to tease the other idea of a show you're toying with right now?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Not quite yet.
Cool.
I need to talk to some of the guys about it in house before we do anything. But yeah, I appreciate you asking.
You bet. We got Crypto Compassion in the house. We got Moon Mutt, Tea Time. We've got Jay Everything from the DGen Roundtable and Agent Jay from the Round Table as well. We got Fast Abdul saying, "Let's talk bribes or chocolate." Victory's mine, and of course Hex Glenn. Good to see you here, buddy. Great to see you. Yeah, I mean, I pulled up my the countdown to the halving on my phone yesterday, and it was down to like 56 days or something like that. And I kept thinking, I've seen this before. Every cycle I've been through, you've got the halving, and it kind of does this little ramp up after the halving, and then all of the exchanges, without fail, do the Darth Maul candles. They short you'll see this spike go to some insane level where they just blow everyone out of their leverage positions mostly. And then once that's over, then usually it's off to the races. There might be another death spike after that, but that's kind of my signal that I look for, is them completely making the price of Bitcoin or Ethereum just drop to something crazy for a couple of minutes and then back up. What about you guys? What signs do you guys look for with waves in crypto?
Well, ultimately, what's interesting, especially about where we are right now, is the macro strength that we have when you think of the 4-year cycle narrative, the macro strength is hitting a very high level that has only maybe been seen 1 or 2 times in Bitcoin's history. Not only that, but we do have the constant buy pressure in the new Bitcoin ETFs that are out there. So that slow but steady sucking up of Bitcoin, it's definitely showing itself strong in the macro level RSI. Like when you look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart and you take a look at the RSI indicators, in cycles in the past, I mean, it's maybe gotten up to 50 or 60 on the RSI, but we're already topping off right now on the weekly at like 80 RSI, which I think has only been done. If you think of mid-cycle pushes like that, I think 2016, it happened 2 times. And then, of course, going into 2017, we had the blow off top when the RSI reached that point. But I think ultimately it's interesting to see how much the ETFs, and especially when they came out in January or a month and a half ago, close to 2 months ago, you saw the sell-off occur because Grayscale was selling off with the FTX and stuff going on. Well, what you're starting to see is those sell-offs are getting lower and lower, and you're seeing the constant sucking up of BlackRock and all these ETFs, these hedge funds that are continuing to grow and grow and grow. So it'll be ultimately interesting to see. More people, I think, have been talking about a left translated cycle narrative this year because of where the strength is right now. So, but yeah, ultimately, I still think we might be a little too early to be able to determine if this is going to be left translated or right translated. But those are my thoughts. I'm gonna go on mute here and let the other guys talk.
No, I agree. I think it's, usually when Bitcoin goes through the golden pocket and close above it, you have within 10 weeks, you have an all-time high every previous cycle. So, and we're what now, 3 weeks in? So max 7 weeks from now, we should be printing an all-time high. So that is interesting to see. Yeah, I'm thinking if we don't get an ETF on ETH, this cycle, that's what I'm thinking. And they want to funnel everything into the Bitcoin ETF, then we could see a really interesting Bitcoin chart maybe that exactly looks more like the 2016 cycle where it's one move and it never stops. It's just a nice slow parabola up and to the right. And it surely does look a lot like that cycle, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I personally haven't been paying much attention to stuff outside of Pulse Chain because I've just been so hyper focused. But yeah, I do agree with you guys. And especially this whole like ETF thing, it's definitely driving up a lot of mania. And I think the BlackRock ETF itself, I think I read that it captured like something like 520 million in a single day or something recently. So yeah, it's definitely pretty crazy to see. And yeah, I think I've heard elsewhere that like Bitcoin and ETH in centralized exchanges are kind of at like all-time lows. It's interesting to see what's going to happen, after happening. So. Yeah.
What you also have to consider is a couple different things are happening now that haven't happened in cycles past. Let's start with the bottom of the bear market. So Ethereum bottomed 6 months before Bitcoin did. That's never occurred before. All right, so Ethereum bottomed in June or July, and it took Bitcoin another 5 or 6 months to find its bottom in November, December. So that's one thing that's sort of different that hasn't occurred before. Another thing that's interesting is if you look at the times in cycles past when Bitcoin found its prior all-time high, it was typically 1,000 to 1,100 days separating the two. So Bitcoin will make a new all-time high, and then anywhere between 1,000, I'll go 1,000 to 1,200 days. So there's like a 200-day window there, that you can play with. But it's never occurred this early before. It certainly hasn't. Right now, if it was to follow cycles past, it wouldn't hit its all-time high until maybe October. I think August to October is when the window for it to hit its all-time high should be. So if we're already talking now in March, FR, if what you said comes to reality and we do pre-halving already reached that all-time high, then I think you're going to start hearing a lot of different narratives coming to play. I think the super cycle theory is going to get very loud. I think it's going to get very loud. And then I also think that you're going to take into account that a left translated cycle, which hasn't happened before in the 4-year cycle macro point. So, couple different things that we haven't seen before. Every cycle is different, but they rhyme. So we'll ultimately have to see. Like I said, I still think we're a couple months away from being able to say, okay, if we're left translated, because if we're left translated, we're already in that parabolic move already. Like, I think we've already started that parabolic move that this thing is going to be left translated. All right. But if it's going to run out like a normal 4-year right translated cycle, then we could probably expect either some crabbing or a significant contraction in the market leading up to the next couple months. So I think the next few months will be able to shine a headlight perfectly on where we're going to be this time next year and this time in 2025.
Well said. Well said. You guys are all bringing a lot of really good perspectives to this. I'm still hung up on the $20 billion that the institutions have spent on software. You know what I mean? They spent $20 billion trying to build a fence around the baby boomers so that if that money comes into crypto, they're making their fees, making their cuts, and being the middlemen, right? And that's something that's never happened in crypto before. And I kind of give a lot of credence to the super cycle theory because we've seen how hard institutions and governments have thrown a wrench in some of the big crypto exchanges and the narrative, right? And we've seen them give their buddies unfair advantages of like they always do in finance. And so after this cycle, they're going to have 3 or 4 more years at least to tighten their reins and see which laws grab the power and get a hold of the money, which ones don't, right? And so that's why I kind of think this may be the biggest cycle, just because of those things that we're facing when you deal with money or power or energy, right? So,
and it's definitely interesting that you bring that up, because we're also in the midst of the largest transfer of wealth that's ever occurred in history before. The money that is going from the boomers to the millennial generation. And boomers, over the last couple of years, it's become more and more solidified that they are having a hard time passing their wealth down. If you take a look, they are selling their houses in less time. Let me rephrase what I said there. It's harder for them to sell their homes as compared to the greatest generation passing, their wealth and their property along. So boomers are getting more and more stuck in the mindset that they have right now. And it's a big generational thing. So I think you're going to see a fight, but I do agree that the institutions are targeting that boomer money, because up until this point, it's basically been millennials and younger. Cryptocurrency has been, for the most part, a younger person's game. It bucks the system. It's brand new. Boomers aren't really in that mindset, and they haven't been in that mindset since the 60s or 70s when they were growing up and they were going to Woodstock and all this stuff. They've matured and they've pretty much solidified their way of life. And it's been the millennials and the Gen Zs that have sort of started bucking the system like the boomers had done. So I ultimately see a fight happening, but absolutely. I mean, you gotta hand it to the institutions. I mean, we knew this was coming, and I would say it's a strong probability that we're going to have an Ethereum ETF right alongside a Bitcoin ETF. And I think that's going to happen this cycle. And I think the institutions, they're seeing the amount of money that's flooding into the system right now. They're seeing the success that they're having. And I think they're going to want to keep the party rolling. And the best way to keep the party rolling is to roll that into an Ethereum ETF. So, but we'll have to ultimately see. But yeah, if it comes out, it would be May 2024 when the Ethereum ETF. I think that's some of the earliest projections for when something like that would be approved. So, but yeah, great input there, Pulse. What I'm interested to hear what FR and Vince say.
Yeah, I think it's we have had crypto now for what 13, 14 years. And all the traditional finance, the boomers, they had to watch this as monopoly money. It's not real. It's fake. It's just a casino. And now since the ETF, that's gone. It's real now. It's for everybody real. So now they have to swallow their pill and go on with the new technology. And it's going to be a rush that is now open for everybody. And that's a big piece of pie that now all of a sudden is solidifying into buying crypto. Yeah, exciting.
If you have a white cat crawl on your lap facing reality, we need you to spin around like Dr. Evil at some point and petting the cat. Is his name Mr. Bigglesworth?
It's Mario.
Very good.
I want to say hi to Academaciated in chat. What's up, Susie? Giving us a lot of love to Chocolate and everyone on stream. Crypto Compassion says we're going to have a big wave coming. Richard's brothers in the house. Facing Reality challenged me to any debate, but now, since I can see his face and listen to his menacing accent, I'll save him the embarrassment. It's better we form an alliance. And then, of course, Chocolate saying hi back to Susie. And Fast Abdul says, when 2 fucks ETF. And he also said, I'd like to see a Pepe ETF. And Caparanga's in the house. And Fast Abdul agrees he has an evil accent.
I mean, a pulse chain ETF wouldn't be bad.
No,
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
not at all. In fact, a hex ETF would be pretty sweet too. But anyways, as far as things ramping up in the pulse chain system, CryptoVince has mentioned he's been, basically focusing on the pulse chain system, and it feels like we're making quite a bit of traction finally with some of the projects that have launched and the operability that's been going on. What is it that you have been most optimistic about in the last while that's shown up on Pulse Chain, and what do you think the next big thing is?
Well, I'm personally eagerly waiting for Earn Protocol to launch. I know that they've had to delay their launch because they couldn't use the fetch oracle. So so they're pretty much building their own oracle from scratch so that they can kind of go live and be functional the way Liquid Loans is doing right now. So it'd be good to. I'm personally planning to kind of rotate from Liquid Loans to over to Earn and earn some Pulse X from people getting liquidated on and redeemed on. So let's see. I'm also looking forward to, I told myself I wouldn't sacrifice for anything non-Arch related anymore, but the Pateas team was announced their P-Day thing, and I thought that looked pretty interesting. But I still have to kind of look more into it. I think their sacrifice starts today or something. So so looking forward to maybe throwing a little money into that, just because I know the team's done right by the community, and their DEX aggregator has been working fine since launch, and I didn't get into their first coin, but I saw the chart and it's doing pretty well. So yeah, I mean it's reasonable to assume that their second one's going to do pretty good too. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Liquid Loans so far. I took the stability side instead of the vault, the borrowing side.
Yeah,
and the return is still 100% APR, and you're sitting. It feels good to sit in a stable.
Yeah, for sure.
So
we have a bunch of guys in our team that are heavy in Liquid Loans, and I mean we've had Walrus on our stream a bunch of times. He gave an awesome tutorial on Liquid Loans before they even launched. So there's definitely Liquid Loans support in our community as well.
Nice.
Fast Abdul says that 2Fox SAC broke 800K today. So it looks like it's off and running after a good start. We're going to add a Nate Get It Done to the stream. How you doing, right, Nate?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing? Am I coming in good?
Yeah, you're coming in good.
Awesome.
Introduce yourself to anyone who doesn't know you and give us all the predictions.
Well, I got quite a few of those, but yeah, my name is Nate McGettit. I am the Ascending Man with the DGen Roundtable here, and yeah, I do like doing a few predictions. I mean, Josh, you just got done talking about how the perfect storm. We're seeing a lot of things kind of like just coming together into this big old storm of just maybe something of a super cycle, possibly. But yeah, I've been kind of focusing a little more on the altcoin section, considering that like 90% of my portfolio is altcoins. So I'm not so much into like Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing right now? Okay, yeah, it leads the way, sure, but I'm more of like, hey, let's see what Ethereum is doing now. That's kind of the direction that I've been going.
Cool. Then the next thing I wanted to ask you guys was about bridges. You know, we've seen a lot of people working on trying to make bridges seamless and easy to use. They're still scary. At least I'm scared because I've used the wrong bridge a couple times and lost some money. And I've been in this game for years and years, and it looked legit, sounded legit, and my money was gone. So there are some protocols. I know the one that I listened in on in Telegram recently was Pulsar. And so Pulsar is built on top of Titan X on Ethereum. But as soon as you interact with it, it bridges your funds and does the whole system on Pulse Chain. So I'm not quite sure how that works with the smart contracts or with the fees. But when do you think people will be able to actually bridge from network to network seamlessly, just like changing from website or browser? Or do you think that's a possibility?
I think it's possible. I think we're a little early right now. I think maybe in the cycle to come, or maybe at least by the end of this decade, I think the technology will have reached the point to where something like that is more feasible. I still think the legs are being formed right now in the cryptocurrency space, and it's still in the developmental phase. And I think it's still a little bit too early. But I can tell you this, is that once that technology comes around and it is the right time, that's going to be huge, because that's going to go from, you can draw comparisons to modes of transportation in the physical world. That's going to go from taking a horse and buggy across the country to now you can hop on a railroad and take it across the country. And now you can hop on an airplane and take it across the country. So once that technology comes into place, it's going to be massive. I just don't know if we're there yet. But I'm also not the most well-versed individual in that topic. So if there's competing opinions on that, I'm definitely open to hearing that out and having my mind changed on that.
Well, I mean, Josh, if you're thinking about it this way, right, you said it perfectly. It's like rails, right? It's the system to be able to get into the city. Now, if you're looking at crypto universe, kind of like different cities, right? We got the, say, Pulse Chain City, right? Now, what you do is obviously you have like a flat of land, you got like the businesses and all these things, right? But it's small, it's like the Wild West, just small little towns. How long until you keep building railways and then you build roads and then you like all the technology keeps, building and building, you get bigger buildings, better structured buildings, right? More of them, more people start moving in, right? There's a lot more money around. That's kind of the way that I view it, is it's kind of like the building of a city.
As somebody that runs validators on Pulse Chain, I think I can offer kind of a different perspective to this, which is that I noticed that, like, for example, when you just use the normal Pulse bridge, bridging back from Pulse Chain to ETH and back and forth, it takes 96 confirmations. And so I think the main technical point of the seamlessness, it just has to do with that limitation where you need basically a certain number of blocks to pass for the transaction to be considered like final and not be able to be rolled back, so that validators can't conspire to kind of do like a rollback attack and do like a double spend. So yeah, I think there's always going to be a time component to it where users have to wait a certain amount of time, and that might be an inconvenience that we'll have to put up with. But yeah, who knows? Maybe in the far future that the tech will change and that time period will be cut shorter dramatically, or maybe it might be instant. But I think for now we're kind of limited by the way the blockchain works in that way. So,
And I can promise you this, the way technology is advancing and all that stuff, there's going to be a day, it's probably not too far off, where we're going to come together on this channel and we're going to talk about the old days of bridges and the old days of this and the old days of that, just because technology is caught up. But yeah, I think we'll get there when we get there, when that's one of the big focuses. And it'll be interesting to see how long that takes and how it plays out.
Awesome. Let's give a shout out to some people here in chat. We got Susie Q still being awesome. We got Richard's brother saying RIP loan. No, bro, Nate's haircut is sick AF. Big fan of the haircut. Yeah. And then Cassie's really excited. We got Josh and Nate in the house. Ben DeVard's in the house. Go and follow and subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's brings a lot of good content. Tin Top's in the house. And I think I saw, Red Squirrel. This is the first time Red Squirrel wasn't the first comment in like months. So thank you for joining us, guys. Love it. And I'm hoping that if I look here on, Cassie needs a wrench. We're going to wrench Cassie. We're going to wrench Chocolate. How do you not have a wrench, Chocolate? Josh?
I have no idea, man.
My goodness. And now Ben's got a wrench. Yeah, a wrench society is a polite society. So yeah, cool. Good to see you guys in there. So other than these predictions and what's going on, are you guys finding it any easier with some of the stuff that's come out to onboard people, or has the winter, the bear market, kind of like made it very difficult to talk about crypto to your friends and relatives?
I can go first here. That bear market certainly was long, right? And it was staggering. But luckily people have short memories, because the strength that we're seeing right now, I'm having conversations with people that I shouldn't, well, in cycles past, I wouldn't have been having at this point yet. Typically after the halvening, that's when Bitcoin will make the parabolic move, and then the news will start picking up on it. You'll start seeing it. And then typically when we get to the frothy period where Bitcoin's going to be close to blowing off, that's when your mailman and the Subway shop artists and all them, they start talking to you about Bitcoin, this, that, and the other. But it's happening sooner now. And I think that's because of the strength. I think the ETFs certainly have a role to play in that as well. But specifically with Pulse Chain, it is still a little difficult. And I'll let some of the other guys talk on their experiences, those that are more focused on that. I think it would be good to hear their point of view as well. But I would say ultimately and in general, it's happening sooner. So people do have quick memories, and they do fade easily. That's what I've come to realize.
It kind of seems to me like right now at work, I've literally got people like, "Oh yeah, so how's Bitcoin doing? You're the crypto guy, right?" As soon as you start hearing that, it's like, "All right, here we go," and they're like, "Yeah, so you Bitcoin, but like, what other crypto should I be buying?" And I'm sitting there like, "Oh, come on." So then you try to start explaining Ethereum, right? You start trying to explain like, "Oh, what about that Solana thing I've been hearing in the news?" Yeah. I mean, if you want to, you can go buy some. I wouldn't suggest it. It's kind of already popped quite a bit, and you're not really going to get too much out of it. Then you got to try and explain how, if something's already kind of taken off, what are you getting if you buy in there? Maybe you're getting a 2x. I mean, this is crypto, baby. We don't wake up for 2x's, right? So it starts getting difficult, because you start getting like, you want to help people, right? You want to help them make money, and they want to invest. But the problem is, is that you're sitting here and you're saying, okay, well, I'm sorry, dude, but you've kind of missed the boat already, and enable for you to actually start getting good money out of this for real investments and not lose it all during the next bear. Okay, you're gonna have to start digging deeper. And I tell people all the time, I can help you with that. Let's have a call or whatever. But they don't take that extra step. What they want to do is they want to just get into it now, make tons of money, and then they're good. And that's like, no, that's not how crypto works right now. So I've kind of gotten down to a little bit of a system where I say, okay, get onto a centralized exchange. All right. This is going to be what I call your retirement fund. All right. All you're going to do is every single paycheck, you're going to take like $10, $100, whatever it is that you can afford. Right. And without looking at the price of Bitcoin or Ethereum, just buy it up. Just buy it, and you're going to be leaving that for a good like 10 years, maybe 12 years, right? Just keep buying it. Don't look at it. Just keep buying. And that's really all that I can tell them, because it's easy enough for them at that point. But they don't want to go any deeper into it. And unfortunately, that's how people become exit liquidity.
Yeah, even though there's two sides to the story, because usually when your friends come to you, you're already close to the euphoria states. And then it's like, yeah, I can't onboard you now. But now, at least they know about it. They come to you. At least you can give them a shot now, because we're still a long way off. So I see the benefit there. But I agree, onboarding them to crypto is not easy. It's like people see it like the biggest hurdle there is. And even though you ask them, could you order something on Amazon? Yeah. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. You fill in the form, press next, 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 and you're pretty much done. But for some reason, because it's crypto, it's all of a sudden a really big deal, and they get nervous, and yet they spend thousands of dollars online with no problem. So it's funny.
Yeah, yeah. I had someone at my house, like a contractor at my house yesterday, and they're asking what I did, and I was like, "Oh, I work in crypto. I got a little YouTube channel." And they go, "Well, tell me what I need to know in 5 seconds, because that's my attention span." And I was like, "The only thing I can tell you in 5 seconds that's going to help you is that there's a 4 to 5 year cycle. If you understand that about crypto, you're ahead of 90% of people who have heard of Bitcoin but don't understand what it is, what it does, or the cycles or anything like that. But I'm like, you really have to have a 5 year time span or attention span to crypto, as those of us who have been through multiple waves will tell you. You will get a doctorate's degree worth of education and pain every wave, both going up and coming down, I think, so that's my take.
And what's interesting is that, yeah, 4 years might seem so long, but it could be a very long and drawn out 4 years. It can go by as slow as possible. And like this, so not to really talk too much about the DJ Roundtable, but like me and Nate, we have different investment goals that we're trying to reach, right? So Nate will throw scratchers, and he will make multiple transactions throughout a 4 year cycle. And I like to joke with him, because the last time I was even on an exchange, the last time I even considered buying anything was about a year ago. And if we have a right translated cycle, I like to, the running joke that me and Nate have had over the last couple of weeks is, all right, so the last time I bought something was a year ago. And if we have a right translated cycle, I'm going to be selling in about a year. So Nate, I might need you to come in and refresh me on how to offload and onload into crypto again, just because it's been that long of a period. You know what I'm saying? So, like with me, I executed most of my transactions about 2 years ago. Yeah, I said a year, but now, I mean, I'm realizing we're in 2024 now. So about a year and a half to 2 years ago, that's when I was executing my transactions. So it can definitely be a long period. It can certainly be a long period.
Yeah, actually, Josh, this is kind of add on to that. It is kind of funny because I did a show on our channel called the bear mindset versus the bull mindset, right? And in the bear, kind of like what you were doing, it's like, okay, I need to find a really good project that's going to do really well next bull, and then there's going to be a lot of them, so you can kind of like shotgun, just bam, 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 pick them up, right? And just keep spending money, just keep spending. You're not even looking at the price; it don't matter because it is cheap, right? But during the bull mindset, you need to be more of a sniper. You need to really look at these things that are still somehow, some way cheap, right? Haven't really taken off yet. And then also, like memes, people are gonna want to get into just for the fun of it. And you really gotta like kind of center down on these ones, right? So, and then the other thing too is like with my scratchers, what I'm trying to do is cheap scratchers that are technically leverage on whatever core coin I have. Like say Pulse is a big one for me, right? So then I've got all these meme, kind of like a Tropa, a P-Dye, just these coins that are going to X more than Pulse, but then I can rotate back into Pulse, and then Pulse will continue to fly up, right? And so you get more X's technically. So it's a leverage play and all that. And so I'm this bull cycle, I'm really like trying to learn about all this, and really trying to get in deep with it. Whereas you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy, like, oh yeah, lounging.
Yeah, and it's important to also understand the flow of money in the cryptocurrency space, because if you want to maximize your time in the 4-year cycle, you have to understand that money goes from Bitcoin into Ethereum, into large cap, and then into altcoins. So if you're trying to make the best gains that you can make here, and your risk level is like moderate to, even if you're willing to take on some high risk trades, if that describes you, then understanding that flow. Because last cycle, once Bitcoin in the 2021 cycle, once Bitcoin reached its all-time high again of 20,000 before it went parabolic, it took Ethereum another 3 months before Ethereum reached its all-time high. So, understanding that, look, when you see Bitcoin run and Bitcoin gets frothy, that's a good time then to roll into Ethereum. And then once Ethereum starts to roll, it's like stepping on a ladder, and being able to identify those large cap alts and the regular altcoins that are still relatively low in price. I mean, take the entire Pulse chain ecosystem right now. The money is being made right now when people press that buy button. They're not making their money in the future when they sell. They're making their money right now when they press that buy button, because that's when you make your money, is your entry. So once you decide to exit, whether it's a year from now, whether it's 10 years from now, whatever the price is, whether it's a 10x, a 100x, a 1000x, a 10,000x, a millionx, depending on where it is right now, it is still so affordable and such ground level prices in the entire Pulse chain ecosystem that people just, I don't know if they truly understand how early they are. And I think you saw a lot of that I think you've seen a lot of that frustration, and but people just need to understand how early they are and how much it's going to run.
Nice. And if I didn't say this earlier, make sure you guys go over to DGen Roundtable and subscribe and check out what they got going on there. Like, subscribe, share their videos. They got a bunch of just degenerate hooligans over there, so a lot of us will fit right in. Finbear was asking, so what's with liquid loans? Cassie got a wrench. And so you said, what do you mean? And then I'm going to read this in my best Finbear impersonation. People are saying that they got some of their Pulse sold on the price pump, or am I misunderstanding something? So that's my Finbear impersonation. I pulled up my stability pool here. I didn't get any liquidation gains in the last 3 or 4 days.
He's talking about redeeming, I think.
Redeeming?
There's been some issues with the redeeming, and we've actually, over at the DGen Roundtable, Walrus really supports us, and we've been having kind of a conversation with him about people at 500% ICRs, getting redeemed and all that. It's kind of like, it's not so much of a good look, and there's a little bit of a confusion going on there with exactly what the redemptions are. So we've been doing our best with our community in our Telegram group to try and, here's what it is, guys. Here's what it is. Be careful, be careful. But I could see a lot of people actually getting a little bit wrecked on that if they don't understand it,
Yeah. Academacia says, same here. My folks occasionally ask how that Bitcoin thing is doing. And I explain once again, it's X, not Bitcoin. They'll understand soon. D-Based says swag unit. I probably got a wrench D-Based. I don't recognize him. J-Pon says 5 seconds. Buy crypto now. Number go up, not financial advice. Fastadoodle says Josh, a scammer, will contact you shortly with detailed instructions. Richard's brother says there's only one. Mind if I throw a scratcher into Rob? Talking about Richard's brother's coin. And then yeah, cool. We're all caught up on chat. So other than that, with the bull run, people usually have more time and more money to go to meetups, get-togethers. So you get a lot more people meeting. Like we have Vegas coming up this next week, and then they'll be in Salt Lake, the Pulse Chain Tour. Go to pulsechaintour.com. They'll be in Salt Lake April 13th, I believe. And I think I'll be speaking at the one up there in Salt Lake. I'll be talking about NFTs and a lot of the things that are new in NFTs since the days of, a JPEG, right? So that's exciting. What about you guys? What places, when you have the time and money, what places or events are you guys wanting to meet up with the crypto community?
I'll be coming to America again. I mean, I did it in the last cycle with Hex. I went to, what was it then? New York in Albany with the Hex tour. That was fun. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to do that again, probably this year, but we'll see.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I've been wanting to travel outside of the U.S. to Europe and Asia to meet a lot of the Hexicans that I've been talking with on Twitter for years. Lately it's I just kind of have like one-on-one lunches with Hexicans here in SoCal. So
yeah, you guys have quite the community there in SoCal of Hexicans. In fact, you guys were the first official meetup was a lunch out there in California. Yeah, I don't recognize it because I wasn't there, but
fair enough.
I met with Hexo in Idaho for a really good steak dinner, and so I call that the first one just because I was there. But yeah, you guys have a really good community there in Southern California. Mm-hmm. So I did want to give a shout out for next week's Tech Talk. Well, I got that up here. We're going to have cryptographics, I believe, on next week. And let me see here. Yeah, cryptographics, Fast Abdul, Bristology, and Swizzle Sticks. So that's going to be a really good tech talk as well. And of course, we'll leave the link open in some of the places like the DGen Roundtable and the panel. I mean, the main panel right now is supposed to be me, Rags, Hexius Man, and Adam from Viba Finance, but they've been pretty busy lately. So I'm more than happy to have the panel we have on today. It's a great panel. The other thing I want to cover was check out Anti-Gravity Saga on Telegram, t.me/Anti-Gravity Saga. That's where we're updating people on our project right now. We're currently waiting for the smart contracts to be finished in the next probably about 6 weeks. And then we're going to be doing a fundraising through the Forge and Curator. And we're going to go through there and start raising funds to get our audit done before we, launch all the details and go from there. But at that point, that's really exciting to show some of the NFT and the tokenomics that we've combined into our project. And then, of course, shout out to the Forge Council and Curator. If you guys haven't checked that out, or some of my streams with those guys, that's a really cool community and platform being built right now. And I feel like if the Pulse Chain community and the Hexicans would direct their energy towards something like that rather than infighting or whatever, I think we could have basically the Rotten Tomatoes of crypto, where it's the go-to when anyone wants to look up a coin. That's where you go for information, for reviews, and all that stuff. So shout out to, of course, them. Other than that,
Yeah, and just real quick, Mark is so awesome. Just Mark in and of himself, dude. Mark is awesome. You know, he's punctual, he's polite, he's on top of stuff. He is willing to talk to anybody and everybody about anything. He'll say the same things 1,000 times to 1,000 different people, or one time to 1,000 people. It doesn't matter. You know, the guy's just consistent, and he's really put a lot of passion behind this project, and it'll be awesome to see. You know, we're behind him here, and yeah, he's just, you can't say enough good words about that guy and just the time and the effort that he's putting into what he's doing here. So it'll be awesome to see him grow, and we're hoping to grow with him.
Yeah, and he and his team put 20 months of energy and money and work into that platform to get it where it's at right now. And now they want to bring in the community to continue building. So yeah, big shout out to them. Red Squirrel says, I missed the whiteboard and Kool-Aid's chair. I don't know if you guys want to go back and watch Kool-Aid's chair talk to Sam Bankman-Fried's beanbag. That was a weird stream. That was a really weird stream, but it's back there somewhere. Fast Abdul says, once you go Abdul, you never go back because of blackmail. And then DBA says, traveling is for after the bull market gains, but damn, it's tempting. My exceptions are Matty Allen official meetups like Austin and Vegas. Yeah, shout out to Matty Allen and his meetups and his online conference as well. And then DTR meetup summer of 2025 in Miami. Is that a thing? Tell us
that's yeah. I mean, we've been talking about having a meetup since we were, you know, since we started our channel, before we even had 10 subs. So because we got 9 of us in a production team, or in a production manager, so you know, just us being able to get together would be awesome. So we've been talking about having it in Miami and this, that, and the other. So, and as our channel has grown and as our subscribers have grown as well, we want to be able to throw on something awesome for them. We don't have anything set in stone just yet. That's just Nate being Nate and just throwing out, you know, what we've talked about doing, and just a general idea of sometime in 2025, either during the euphoria or after the top, putting something together and stuff like that. So
yeah, as we've grown, you know, our community is literally asking like, oh, so when are we meeting up? When are we meeting up? And it's like, it did start with just us, like, hey, we're doing this online, might as well do it in real life. But yeah, no, as we've grown, it's thank you, Fast Abdul. We have a token that Crypto Sloth created with us. It's just a meme. But yeah, you could technically go buy it if you wanted to. But yeah, long story short, sometime in 2025, we are going to meet up, and it's becoming more and more of a thing of like, this is going to be an event. So looking forward to it.
Red Squirrel has gone back and found the YouTube link for Kool-Aid's chair stream. So what happened was I'm on stream with Kool-Aid, but he has to keep getting up and leaving to do stuff. So I started interviewing his chair, and then, you know, coming up with a voice for his chair, which, you know, that's not crazy or anything. And so I'm talking with his chair about Kool-Aid, and then Sam Bankman-Fried's beanbag chair popped in to the link and was telling us about all the crazy shit going down in Bahamas. It's a very strange stream, but it's pretty good. It's a lot of fun. Jonathan Paul is in the house. He remembers that stream. He's an OG. So yeah, that's what you do. You got to keep the show going, man. No matter what happens, if Kool-Aid's taking care of his cats or not, you got to bring the content that people are looking for. So other than that, do you guys have anything else? And anyone have any questions in chat or topics that we want us to go over, or anyone here in the panel that has any burning desires?
The only thing I would say is that it's going to be really interesting. And if you think that the past bear market was hard, it's going to get harder. Because the next stage, especially if you haven't experienced it before, it's going to be way harder than the bear market. Because the true volatility will start from here. So you will see literally your portfolio 10x and then correct 80%. And you're thinking, oh my God, what did I do? And it probably will do it 5 or 6 or 7 times before the end. So yeah, sit back, along the ride. Enjoy the ride. But yeah, balls of steel.
Balls of steel. Cool, cool, cool. Anyone else before we go around and let people know where they can find you and go from there? Or anyone else in chat want to come up with a question or topic that you want these big brain people to tackle, or just make up shit about? Like we're happy to do either. I don't see anything there. Okay, so CryptoVince, where can people find you and your book?
Oh yeah,
cryptographics.
Yeah. My handle's exactly the way it's written. CryptoVince369 on Twitter and Telegram. And yeah, you can find the book on Amazon. There's also a free PDF version if people go to cryptographics site. Yeah.
Awesome. At Face in Reality, where can people find you?
I'm the same as Rax. Do not like, comment, or subscribe. So don't even look it up. You will only find weird stuff. So I'm the village idiot. So, but if you're in that kind of stuff, then yeah, you can find me on Twitter.
Awesome. And then Josh, where do people find you in the DGen Roundtable?
Yeah. So again, my name is Josh. You guys can find me on Instagram or on Twitter at Chocolate Taints. It is plural, so it's not Chocolate Taint. It's Chocolate Taints, plural. You guys can also find me in the free DGen Roundtable Telegram community. If you guys type in bit.ly/degenerate_roundtable, you guys will be able to join our Telegram community. And that's where you guys can find me. Tune in 8 o'clock Eastern time, Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for our for the shows that we are putting on. And yep, interested to meet new folks and to grow the ever-growing list of crypto folks that I've come in contact with.
Cool. And Nate?
Yeah, you can find me over at the DGen Roundtable. I also have my own YouTube channel, which I talk about not necessarily crypto, just interesting things. I just got done talking about AI. It is currently on hold for now because there's a lot of interesting things happening with the DGen Roundtable currently. But yes, that is going to be at the Ascending Man on YouTube. I do now have a Twitter, so you can go ahead and go follow me at Nate McGettit, exactly how you see it right there. So yeah, just type that in, 369, bam, you're good to go. Yes, we do have a show tonight about the perfect storm. I really highly suggest getting in and watching that one. The last time we did this was literally episode 3, and that was a while ago. So there's a lot of new things that have come in, and we're going to be putting it all together. I also have a little bit of my own chunk that has to do with the whole alt season and everything. We are currently in the warm-up alt season right now, and we're kind of coming to the end of that, and there's so many pieces of the puzzle that fit together perfectly. That says right around sometime in May, basically all alts are going to crash dive, and people are going to be like, "Oh no, what happened to my money?" And I think it's going to be enough where I'm not financial advice, but what I'm thinking about doing is literally taking 30% of my entire portfolio in profit in stables and then buying back. So as things develop, I'm going to be making more of a confirmation. But as of right now, yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it. So yeah, watch us tonight.
Yeah,
Awesome.
middle of June, beginning of July is when we put out our initial perfect storm theory sort of analysis. So we have a whole lot more information to sort of update that and to rehash it and cover it and have a good discussion about it. So yep, tune in tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, Fast Abdul wants to know which of you is closest to his jiu-jitsu weight class. I go around 200 pounds, float around there. I don't know. There's some Hexicans I've seen that can, big boys, 6'5", 6'7". So I don't know what weight class are you in, Fast Abdul? Put that in chat, and also put a +1. You can catch me in Vegas. I'm going to be down there with the Pulse Chain Tour. You can catch me in Silicon Slopes. So the Salt Lake meetup is actually about 20 or 40 minutes south of Salt Lake in the area they call Silicon Slopes, which is where all the tech companies in northern Utah are. And so they've set up a nerd. I forget his name, but if you go onto their Telegram or mine, he's set up a building for us to meet there. So it's going to be a lot of fun meeting there. And then of course, Telegram, t.me/anti-gravity saga. We took 5 of the best crypto tokenomics that I've seen since I've been in crypto, and we're trying to put them all into a smart contract to give you your maximum gains, right? So you can catch me on there, and then follow me. We're working on getting the website up and the pitch deck that we can share for now on the Forge and Curator. So follow us and check us out there. But other than that, Festival says I'm cutting down to medium heavy 195. That's, yeah, if you're cutting down to that, I definitely don't want to roll with you. And thank you very much, Susie Q, very much. And as you know, this is Tech Talk, where we have a very interesting outro that we do here, which is the awkward wave goodbye. And some of you guys have been here for it before, some of you guys haven't. But I want you to take yourself back to 5th grade, the first school dance you ever went to, where all the guys are on one wall and all the girls are on the other wall. And you're doing your most awkward waves to the crush that you have back there. So I'm going to start some music here. And I just want you to look into it, give the most awkward wave goodbye. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much for coming here. These guys didn't tell you, but I bribed them all in Feather Coin to show up. So we're just waiting for that one to rally. And we will catch you next week with cryptographics, Fast Abdul, Bristology, and Swizzle Sticks. And so take care, guys. Thanks.